Big changes are happening this week in bass fishing. The ice line has made a huge move to the north, opening up lakes in the Great Plains, Midwest, and the Northeast. If you've been waiting to fish open water, now's your time. Every week, we're tracking weather, seasonal patterns, and tournament trends to help you make better fishing decisions. We've got two major tournaments this week, the NPFL Season Opener at Santee Cooper and the Bass Pro Tour Stop Number 3 at Lake Murray. Both will be pre-spawn slugfests and could produce some giant bags. We're also tracking multiple storm systems that could bring severe weather, cold fronts, and major swings in fishing conditions. If you're hitting the water this week, you need to be ready. And stick around because this week's Lake of the Week is experiencing very muddy water right now, and we'll break down how to adjust your approach. Stay tuned. All right, looking at our map for the week. Biggest story is that our ice line has finally retreated quite a ways to the north. It's opened up areas all throughout the Midwest, areas east of the Rockies and Colorado. Guys are fishing all throughout Kansas, and then parts of Nebraska, especially the smaller lakes are open. All along this ice line, you're going to have small lakes that are open. Some of the bigger reservoirs might still be frozen because the ice is thicker in those areas, but ultimately you're going to be able to fish even if you have to get on some smaller bodies of water. Our pre-spawn areas, I would say, have pretty much stayed the same. You might see some shifts to the north in areas of Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Arizona, California, but ultimately kind of the same patterns are going on. Spawn areas, too, haven't changed a lot. You probably will see some post-spawn fishing in southern parts of Florida, southern Texas. That's just starting to kick off. So get out those post-spawn baits and start killing those giants. We do have two tournaments kicking off, both in South Carolina. We'll talk about those soon, and they are going to be both pre-spawn events. All right, the NPFL has its inaugural 2025 tournament at Santee Cooper Lakes. And this is actually two lakes. This is Lake Moultrie and Lake Marion. This place has absolute giants. It's full of grass, cypress trees. It's a bass fisherman's paradise. This is going to be a total pre-spawn event. There should be some actual cold fronts moving through with this giant storm system that is pushing through. So that could slow things down, but they do have a warm-up coming for the weekend. Key baits are going to be spinner baits, bladed jigs, jerk baits, crankbaits, jigs, all around the rock transitions and points and grass. This should be a shallow water fishing event. They can't use live scopes, so this should be really fun to watch. Tune in to npfl.com to check it out. The Bass Pro Tour has their third stop right up the road at Lake Murray. This is a little bit different. This is a herring lake, deep and clear. The herring bite, they say at this time of year, isn't that big a deal, so probably be a lot of shallow fishing. They can use live scope for one period each day, so definitely going to be some minnow baits in this thing, but chatterbaits, Texas rig, swim baits. You're going to see all kinds of fishing in this one. Same kind of weather problem. There's going to be some cold fronts moving through on Thursday, which should slow things down, but it's a warm-up into the weekend, so it should get better each day as it goes on. So check out MLF.com to watch this tournament. And shout out to Brandon Polinick over in Bassmaster, who won last week on Lake Okeechobee with a dominating performance. He won by over 18 pounds. One day he had almost 35 pounds with two 9-pounders. It was an absolute stellar performance. Congratulations to Brandon. He got his 6th trophy. So, all right, guys, on to our weather map here, national map. We do have this huge low-pressure system that's been making its way across the country. Luckily, the tornado threat that was going on here did not materialize as strong as it was expected. So we're mostly dealing with strong winds and heavy rains, and this is going to continue to push east. It's going to bring strong storms all the way to the East Coast as it draws in moisture from the Atlantic. And then we do have snow all along the backside of this. We just had a huge snow squall warning in my area. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of your face. These are still dangerous storms. There are a chance for some small spin-ups in the line of storms as it moves through, but the major tornado threat has passed at this point. And then as we move into the weekend, there is a chance for another small system to move through, but this is just going to bring snow mostly up here in the Midwest and Great Plains, and should move through pretty quickly. But it is going to have a cold front behind it, so it's going to affect fishing that way in the southeast. And then some rain as we move into Sunday, so keep your eye on that if you are fishing Sunday, and that it will affect the tournaments going on in South Carolina. All right, looking at our temperature anomalies map for the week going into the weekend. As these systems move through, we are going to see cold air on the backsides of them, warm air on the front. So if you're on the front side, you're going to see some good fishing. On the backside, it's going to shut things down. And this is going to be just up and down all week. It's going to make fishing, honestly, probably pretty tough. You're going to have periods where you might be able to catch some fish and periods where it's going to be shut down. So just get out there is all you can do. If you're staying out of the storms, just get out there and fish if you can. But As you can see, as we move towards the weekend, the cold air behind this system just moves right into the southeast. And then right behind it, we have a warm-up coming through, but then California stays cold. Colorado stays cold, Nebraska, as that system moves through. And then just getting towards Sunday, and then that cold air continues to pick up. Huge cool down in Oklahoma, northern Texas. These southeast areas are actually going to be warmer than normal, so those tournaments in South Carolina should actually be pretty good because it's going to warm up through the weekend. So as we get down to the final day, they should catch more and more fish. Excited to see what they do at Santee Cooper. Now looking regionally, we're here on the West Coast. We've got California, Washington, Nevada. Temperatures are going to remain a little bit cooler than normal. Still fishable for sure. You're in the 50s, upper 40s at night. So definitely get out there and fish if you're in California, if you can avoid the rain. Looking at precipitation, let's see. We are going to expect some rain off and on throughout the end of the week. And then on the weekend, it should dry up. So if you're going to fish, definitely the weekend would be the time to do it, even though it's going to be a little bit cooler. It might shut down the bite a little bit, but you should be able to catch some fish and avoid the rain. Let's look at winds. Wind speeds, 10 to 20, that's not bad. Off the coast here, it should be actually pretty windy, so the wave action along the coast should be high. But on land, it shouldn't be too bad unless you're right near the coast. So winds aren't too bad. They should keep you on the water. All right, looking at the south, Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, New Mexico area. Temperatures decent. There is going to be a cold snap that moves down from this storm. Southwest Texas would stay okay. But parts of the Ozarks up here are going to cool down for sure. I know the fishing's already been tough up there, and it doesn't look much better for this week. Colorado is actually looking pretty warm, so if you're fishing in that area, you should be doing pretty good. Western Oklahoma is not bad. It's just going to be, like we said, warm and cool. So if you can get out there and just battle these temperatures and deal with them, and you should be able to catch some fish. As far as precipitation goes, we do have some snow happening up here in Colorado and in western Kansas, but these storms have moved out of Texas. So luckily, you should stay dry all throughout Texas and the rest of Louisiana and Arkansas for the rest of the time through the weekend. Maybe a little bit along the coast, a little bit of rain. But then once we get into the weekend, you're going to see some rain in the Oklahoma, along the Red River there. And then in the panhandle of Texas, there might be some snow like there was yesterday. But nothing too crazy, nothing severe. So just some rain, put on your ponchos, get out there and fish, guys. And then our winds, we're looking at, behind this storm system, the winds are insane right now. These red areas are gusts of up to 50 mile an hour. They're just blasting down from the north, cooling things off. Be pretty tough to be out there fishing today. But then after today goes past, it's going to be breezy, and you know how it is in East Texas, Oklahoma. Definitely some 20 to 30 mile an hour on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, not as bad, but still windy. It's just that time of year. If you can get out there, get in a protected area, and get some fishing done, you can do it. But just watch out for the winds on the main parts of the lake while you're out there. All right, looking at the southeast, kind of the same story. We've got warm temps right now, and then a cool down coming through after that front moves through, and then warm again, and then cool again, and then warm again. It's just going to be a roller coaster. So play the weather as you will. Behind those cold fronts, throw smaller baits, slow down. In front of them, throw your top waters, your power fishing baits, and you should be able to catch some fish. Wind speeds in this area, obviously, as the front moves through, are going to be insane from the south and west. And then as it moves past, we should have it calm down. And then as the other front moves through, it's going to be windy again. Same story. And then we'll look at rains. Right now, obviously, you have that huge storm system moving through. After that gets through, the southeast should remain dry through the weekend. Maybe a little spotty rain here and there on Saturday. Nothing too severe. But Saturday and Sunday, some rain, but should be able to be out fishing. In the Great Plains in Colorado, Wyoming, we did have some open water finally, but these temperatures are going to make it really tough to fish. It's going to be pretty cool all week in the 40s, 30s. Maybe in Kansas you could fish in the afternoons, get up in the 50s. But with all these fronts, it's going to be pretty tough. And then looking at precipitation, right now we do have the storm system still moving through, bringing some snow into the areas all through here. And it's kind of a blizzard situation with the winds and the snow. And then as that moves out, we are going to have that other system move through into Nebraska and possibly parts of South Dakota, Iowa. That's going to bring a lot of snow. Kansas should stay dry for that one, and then the next system is in Oklahoma. Luckily, Kansas should stay dry for the most of this and actually be able to fish, but the rest of us are going to be dealing with weather all weekend. And then looking at our winds, right now it's insane. We have gusts up to 65 miles an hour in these areas. Definitely don't want to be on any big lakes right now, and it's almost impossible to even cast. And then we'll have some calm downs in between these storms, but then it's just going to pick right back up. It's March in the Midwest. It's going to be windy. So if you can get out there, just keep your eye peeled to the weather so you can stay safe. All right, and finally looking at the Northeast, it actually is relatively warm right now, and today is the day you probably want to be fishing if you can stay out of the way of the storms, because as we move through the week, as that system moves in, it's going to cool things down big time. You might even have some refreezing up here in Pennsylvania, Ohio. I know the Great Lakes still have some ice on them, so guys probably aren't fishing too much out there. And then as we move into the weekend, it's kind of the same situation. South Carolina, the Southeast, they're going to stay actually pretty warm, which is nice. But up in here, you are going to have lots of cold air. Kentucky and Tennessee, it's going to be chilly but dry. So let's look at winds. Winds are going to be pretty wild with the system moving through, and then they should calm down in between, and 10 to 20 probably the rest of the week in most of the area, with some areas that are definitely going to be picking up as each of these systems move through. So just like I said with all the other regions, stay aware of the weather and stay off big water if it is windy. All right, guys, our lake of the week was brought to us by Fins, Feathers, and Horns user on YouTube, and that is Lake Cumberland in Kentucky. And this is a satellite image as of today, and it is muddy with all the rain they've been having. It looks like everything is open as far as ice is concerned, but going to be some pretty tough fishing, cold, muddy water. In the staying in muddy water, you're going to want to rely on vibration baits, spinnerbaits, and lipless crankbaits. If you can find any freshwater areas, it looks like this lower end of the lake down here maybe has some clear water. This is probably where I'd be fishing any of these coves down by the dam. Up here, it looks like chocolate milk all the way to the mid-lake section. This pocket up here looks not too bad with some clearer water. So if you can get into one of these pockets and find some clear water, you might be able to find some fish. Definitely want to look for any kind of standing timber, trees in the water, rocks. These fish are going to be holding super tight to cover, and just work them super thoroughly because they're not going to want to move from that cover. I'd be looking to use a black and blue chatterbait in these situations with like a flapping craw trail or something that has a ton of vibration in the water. A Colorado bladed red spinnerbait is really good in these situations. Provides a ton of thump and just really milk all these areas. And then a red lipless crankbait like an LV500, something really loud with a lot of vibration, should be really good. So if you're fishing Lake Cumberland, definitely, like I said, find the clear water and use a lot of vibration. You guys should be able to pick up a few fish, but it's going to be tough out there. So that's Lake Cumberland river system. Check it out. All right, guys, everybody's favorite part, our baits of the week. If you're in pre-spawn areas this week, pretty much anywhere in the country, it's going to be muddy, high water. So you want something with a lot of vibration, a lot of flash, and single-bladed spinnerbait works great. This new one from Picasso is a titanium pro spinnerbait. And it's just like the old Terminator spinnerbaits with the titanium wire. And if you know, these things create extra vibration in the water. And this is actually attached to the head with a swivel here instead of just being solidly in the head. So you're going to get a lot more movement out of that bait than you normally would on a regular spinnerbait. If you're in spawn areas, I like the Congo Craw from 6 Cents. The nice thing about this bait is it's so versatile. You can remove these pinchers off the side, or you can remove these middle ones to get different actions out of the bait. And the bass love these things on beds. So get one of these, flip them into beds, catch some spawning giants if you're in Florida or Texas, Louisiana, California, and this will be a great bait for you to use. Now, if you're in winter areas, it's going to be super tough because the ice just came off. This Googan makes this Snacky swimmer bait, and this is a 2.5-inch swim bait. It's tiny, and then hook it onto one of these little Coolbaits underspin heads. This thing is an absolute killer in winter areas. Slow roll it along the bottom. It'll pick up fish when other baits won't. So, guys, all these are going to be linked below in the description. Pick a couple up and go out there and catch some fish this spring. All right, guys, that is your BPC Weekly Forecast. Don't forget to comment below with your favorite lake and what conditions you're experiencing so we can feature it in next week's video. Make sure you also like the video and share it with your friends. Let's build the best fishing community out there. See you guys later on for the weekend update.